An autonomous car, also known as self-driving car or a driverless car, is a car incorporating vehicular automation and is capable of sensing its environment and moving with little to no human input. Self-driving cars achieve this with a combination of sensors to perceive their surroundings and navigate road paths as well as obstacles. With that being said, many argue about the readiness of Malaysian roads to adopt autonomous cars. Today, we will debate whether autonomous cars belong on Malaysian roads. This House believes that we should ban autonomous cars on Malaysian roads as the 21st century Malaysia is still ill-prepared for its consequences. In my opinion, autonomous cars should be banned because they contribute to a major issue, which is unemployment. Malaysia is a country that has been facing unemployment issues for the past few years, and autonomous car will only cause this issue to expand further beyond unfathomable levels. People in our country who rely on driving for a living may find their jobs outdated if self-driving cars become more common. There are a large number of citizens who work as drivers, so permitting autonomous cars to operate in our country will result in a significant increase of unemployment rates, which will affect our economic conditions severely. Those drivers need to find new jobs for themselves because they will be replaced by self-driving cars. As a result, self-driving cars will only multiply the number of unemployed people, negatively impacting the economy. Another reason for me to believe this type of vehicle should be outlawed is that it can be hacked. Artificial intelligence systems, which use machine learning techniques to collect, evaluate, and transfer data, are used in autonomous cars to make judgments that would normally be made by humans. This is the reason why self-driving cars are vulnerable to hacking. According to the researchers, automakers should be on the lookout for a variety of attacks, including light beam sensor attacks, overpowering, object detection system, back-end criminal activities, and adversarial machine learning attacks. Self-driving cars could be assaulted by artificial intelligence systems that could do damage to the vehicle in ways that humans would find difficult to detect. Hackers can also hack these types of car in a variety of ways, including via the internet, Bluetooth, tampering with the vehicle sensory system, and implanting a specific device within the vehicle. To avoid such attacks, automakers will have to check the software in self-driving cars regularly to ensure it hasn't been tampered with. Furthermore, by following the location of the car and hacking the camera, the hacker can invade an individual's property. According to some reports from foreign countries that use autonomous cars, criminals have done this to check for the securities and police in certain places for crime purposes. This serious case has occurred multiple times and we should not ignore it. As a consequence, we may predict that autonomous vehicle will become a target for criminals, thus raising Malaysia's crime rate. Thank you.
Good evening, sir, and my fellow friends. My name is Kah Hui, and my teammates are JIAN, Li Huey, WEI WEN, and SENG. So let's start off by asking you guys a question. Do you ever get sick of driving, especially when the destination is really far and the traffic is really jammed? If yes, an autonomous car is here to save you from wasting your time driving, while you can just do anything you want in the car and let the car bring you to where you want to be. An autonomous car known as self-driving car is a vehicle capable of sensing its environment and operating without human involvement. As an information, Malaysia currently has no rules or laws against automated driving system. Actually, autonomous cars work with sensors and cameras, monitoring and guiding. These cars can not only sense their environment, but also can anticipate what's coming up ahead, which humans are not capable of. As a result, many experts say that autonomous cars can be trained to be safer than human drivers. First of all, automation can help reduce the number of crashes and reduce the accidents that occurs on our roads. As we all know, the leading cause of most accidents today is driver error. Alcohol, drug, speeding, aggressive driving, overcompensation, inexperience, slow reaction time, inattentiveness, and ignoring road conditions are all contributing factors. Emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, cross-car communication, sensor fusion, and lane keeping assist are the safety features that will remove the driver from the equation and reduce the human error in driving. So here is an example. In the United States, autonomous cars are projected to reduce traffic death by 90%, which would save around 30,000 lives a year. Second of all, autonomous cars will decrease or eliminate traffic congestion, hence saving travel time. So there are two major leading causes of traffic congestion, which are crashes and selfish behavior among drivers. It has been shown that when drivers space out and allow each other to move freely between lanes on the highway, traffic will continue to flow smoothly, regardless of the number of the cars on the road. But in fact, most of the drivers in Malaysia are selfish and would not space out because they want to save time. Besides, by controlling the pace of the autonomous car, the traffic flow for all of the cars is able to smooth out. To prevent selfish behavior of drivers that will cause traffic congestion, autonomous cars are programmed to space out automatically and are able to control the speed of vehicles by using sensors. Hence, this will avoid traffic jams and save time in traveling. So that's all from me. Thank you.
I disagree with concept of autonomous car should be available in Malaysia because, in my opinion, Malaysia's infrastructure is imperfect for autonomous vehicles because they are unable to detect all damaged roads, leading to numerous accidents. Malaysia's infrastructure will need a great time to evolve before autonomous vehicles can be adapted there. Since autonomous cars are self-driving, they may be able to identify damage on the road, causing crashes due to driving speed and unconscious computer system. Meanwhile, if the car is being driven by a human, they may see it and avoid the damaged roadways and prevent the accident. In addition, with more autonomous cars on the road, particularly larger trucks, more infrastructure will be required. Furthermore, Malaysia currently has some qualified drivers on the roads, but once autonomous vehicles are applied, the driving ability level will collapse. What is the reason for this? Because autonomous cars are essentially self-driving, so there is no need for the driver to interact with the vehicle regularly. As a result, individuals may be unable to drive or forget to respond in an emergency on a daily basis. After a long period of self-driving, drivers may find themselves unable to drive in heavy traffic on their own since their skills have degraded. In other words, cognitive unlearning might cause carelessness or failure to understand even the most basic operating procedures. Self-driving makes their driving jobs far too easy to the point where they become unaware that they are driving. Not only that, when people drive their car, they can view the road and memorize it so that their next journey will be easier. But this will be not the case if they are distracted by their phones while the car is self-driving. What if a regular driver of an automated vehicle suddenly switched to a manual vehicle? Despite this being said, the opposing house claims that driver error is a major cause of most accidents nowadays. But I disagree because drivers have greater awareness than computer systems in reacting to certain emergencies on the road. Despite the fact that the computer was programmed by a human, still it is not as intelligent as a human. Aside from that, autonomous vehicles may experience system failures, rendering the vehicles uncontrollable and increasing the risk of an accident. Computer glitches occur on a daily basis all over the world. Therefore, a programmed computer will go berserk at any time, resulting in a tragedy on the road where the driver is discovered that the accident rate of autonomous vehicles is higher than that of human-driven vehicles. GPS-based navigation is built into autonomous vehicles, but GPS isn't always accurate, as we all know. When driving in autonomous vehicles, drivers must take complete reliance on GPS, but the GPS inaccurate directions may cause an accident. A programmed computer abilities to read road signs may be limited, and not only that, if the car software or any component malfunctions, an autonomous vehicle may put the driver in greater danger than if the driver took control of the vehicle himself.
My name is Lim Jia-heng. I think autonomous car will save environment by reduce fuel use and carbon emissions. Most of the autonomous car being driven today are already fully electric. Only some of them are hybrid that use gasoline as well as electric power. Hence, autonomous cars do not run exclusively on gas. An autonomous car uses significantly less gas and energy when driving compared to the vehicle driven by a human. Most gas is burned when driving at high speeds, braking, and reaccelerating excessively. Autonomous car will cut this factor out of their driving style, meaning that less gas is burned or the battery power consumed is less. It will result in less carbon dioxide emission that will lead to air pollution in Malaysia. Besides, autonomous car also means fewer car per household. For example, one vehicle can literally get your family members to the destination needed, so families can cut back on having 2 or 3 different cars to fit the needs of person. Therefore, this will reduce the overall number of cars on the road and as well as unnecessarily overlapping trips that contribute to emissions. Besides that, I think autonomous car will prevent wasting time and enhance human productivity. As the leader says before, autonomous cars can reduce the number of crashes. That is not to mention the cut in non-fatal crashes. Then, the physical trauma and extended hospital stays will be reduced. This will boost the productivity overall in Malaysia. Besides, in autonomous cars, all the occupants could safely pursue more productive and entertaining activities, such as responding to email or watching the movie. So you will not waste the time on driving, and you can do whatever you want to do in the car. So the driver will be the autonomous car itself, and all the occupants in the car will be the passenger. There are also studies that showing taking short break will increase overall productivity. Thus, you can also rest in the car on your way to work, and this could actually make you become more productive when you reach your office. So autonomous car would make commute time be productive time for whatever project we desire. When all the productivity of workers and employees in Malaysia be enhanced, so Malaysia will improve in various aspects and become more advanced. So just now you say autonomous car will cause unemployment, but I am totally disagree with that. Because in this era, technology is advancing globally. For example, the agriculture sector also evolved from manual works to automation works by machine technology. Most of the workers are trained how to use the machine, repair the worker in the machine's components factor, and so on. This principle same as the drivers such as the Grab and Foodpanda also. Besides, although the taxi driver's job will be eliminated in the future and replaced by autonomous car, but there will be new jobs created to replace the old job. So this would not affect our country's economic condition. Instead, the reduced fuel costs caused by the autonomous car will save the economy. In addition, jobs will not disappear overnight. There are many steps between zero and full automation. So actually, to release the autonomous car, there are a lot of time to think over the job and adapt to a new technology. Ability of a person itself to make change and find a job is very important. So I think this is not an excuse to block the autonomous cars, because it will only show slow down the development of our technology, and block our progress. In the future, artificial intelligence will be very common and popular. As the environment changes, humans need to follow the change and become more open-minded. It is a natural selection. As the law of the jungle, only the people who can adapt to a new environment can live, same like all the animals in the world. Thanks.
I strongly oppose the opposition leader's second argument, which is that autonomous cars will decrease or eliminate traffic congestion on the road. This is because autonomous cars are most likely to malfunction as they are more vulnerable to hacking, as they have features like Bluetooth and cellular connection linking them to the outside world, which makes it easier and more accessible for hackers to hack autonomous cars. This causes the car to be out of control of the driver, which results in frequent accidents. Frequent accidents cause more traffic congestion on the road. Thus, if you look at it in a bigger picture, autonomous cars do not decrease or eliminate traffic congestion. Moving on, although the opposite house believes that autonomous cars will save the environment by reducing fuel use and carbon emission, the increased number of autonomous cars also means more batteries are needed and produced. This will require a large amount of factory work, and Malaysia has limited places to recycle batteries. Not only that, even if Malaysia has decided to recycle all autonomous car batteries, we need to pay attention to the cost of sustainability, and one of the main questions that arise here is who is going to be responsible for the recycling of autonomous car batteries in large amounts. So most of the used batteries will end up in landfills. As time goes on, those batteries will corrode and their chemicals will soak into the soil, contaminating the groundwater and surface water, which will later lead to an imbalance in the ecosystem, as polluted water will kill flora and fauna. So my point here is that even though autonomous cars are known as eco-friendly, their manufacturing is not very eco-friendly, especially when it's needed in a big amount. According to the deputy opposition leader's argument, autonomous cars will also prevent wasting time and enhance human productivity. But I think that autonomous cars will reduce human productivity as it makes humans lazier. Autonomous cars do not require human to drive, so the driver has more comfort and they will not be moving as much as they're supposed to. And this also means that they will neglect the other tasks, such as taking the car to the charging station to charge the car or dropping the car off at a repair shop. Neglecting such simple secondary tasks will eventually have a bigger impact in the future, such as accident on the road due to the laziness of the drivers who did not check their car or send them off to repair. In short, I would like to state that autonomous cars should be banned in Malaysia, not only because of one, but several reasons. As argued by our Prime Minister, autonomous cars can cause unemployment for those who have driving as their main source of income, and also driving schools will be forced to shut down as the cars are self-driving. Furthermore, as said by our Deputy Prime Minister, Malaysia's infrastructure and roads are definitely not prepared for autonomous cars, and allowing them to be on roads without improvising the roads in Malaysia will cause many problems in terms of safety and the country's image. Autonomous cars also degrade human beings' driving skills over time, as most of the driving is handled by the system of the car itself, so humans will lose their touch to the driving skills. Humans are made to believe that autonomous cars make human beings move forward, but instead is the technology that's actually growing, and we, human beings, are actually moving backwards due to the reliance on technology. With that being said, I believe that unlike the opposite house arguments, our arguments and rebuttals are stronger, as we have solid reasons on why autonomous cars should be banned in Malaysia. Thank you.
I disagree with Government House about autonomous cars can be hacked and thus increase the crime rate in Malaysia. Although the car can be hacked, there are many ways to protect them from hack. There are some ways that autonomous vehicle manufacturers, cities and drivers can protect these vehicles. First, create a unique password.
For example, in 2019, someone hacked into thousands of vehicles simply by guessing the default password of their GPS tracking apps, 123456. So, we can set a difficult and complex password to prevent being hacked. Second, cities should deploy multiple networks instead of one. Depending on a single network puts connected vehicles at greater risk from potential attacks. By creating many small networks, cities can greatly reduce the risk. Third, update the vehicle software. The latest software for a vehicle will include the most up-to-date patches that will protect the vehicle from known threats. The Government House mentioned that Malaysia's infrastructure and road conditions are not ready for fully autopilot, but it's not for the future. For information, the Korean Institute of Civil Engineering and Building Technology has announced the development of an AI-based automatic pothole detection system. The system is designed to be installed on the windshield of a vehicle to detect potholes on the road surface in real time. Maybe it needs some time to be enhanced and tested several times, but this is an indication that autonomous cars can really step over the potholes problem. Hence, it should not be a problem to use autonomous cars on Malaysia's road since we have many technologies and information to fix the problem. Unless the Government House thinks that Malaysia will not improve and is an undeveloped country. There is a 2D laser sensor that is used for obstacle detection and tracking. So, there is no worry about autonomous cars can cause crashes due to driving speed and an unconscious computer system. The Government House also mentioned that new roads and traffic laws may be required just for autonomous cars. Yes, I agree with this point. However, if there are more benefits that autonomous cars can bring to Malaysia, that is possible to change. We all hope that Malaysia could be a better and developed country, right? Many development countries like the United States, Japan and Germany allow autonomous cars to be on their country's road. Even our neighbor country, Singapore, has allowed their citizens to drive autonomous cars on the roads. New changes on roads and traffic laws will create a better future for people that live in Malaysia and soon become a developed country. Lastly, the Government House mentioned that driving skill in Malaysia will degrade over time. I strongly oppose with that. Autonomous cars will not affect much of the driving skills, but it will also help people that are afraid to use car because of their driving skills. Driving skill is a muscle memory, and according to the muscle memory study by Gunderson, it is strongly believed that muscle memory can last for a very long time in humans. If the person is still worrying and afraid to drive, I believe that when autonomous cars become popular, it will bring benefits and it is reliable for the drivers. Some people are still afraid to drive even if they are driving manual cars. We should give a chance to people that have agmosophobia, which is fear of driving, to travel and get to their destinations by cars. Therefore, drivers need not to worry about their driving skills since they could rely on autonomous cars in the future. The Government House said that people will get distracted by their phones while the car is self-driving and can't memorize the roads. I beg to differ. Ask yourself, did you ever memorize a specific road or you rely on navigation apps to your destination? I bet that many of us rely on navigation apps because it's so convenient and saves us the time from going to the wrong destination. By using autonomous cars, drivers will not have to worry about any distraction on the road or phones because the autonomous cars will bring them to the destination safely. If a driver of an autonomous car vehicle have to switch to a manual vehicle, it will not be a major problem for the drivers to go to a specific destination since nowadays there are many convenient navigation apps to guide them. In general, I believe that our arguments and rebuttals have better reasons and strong evidence compared to the Government House. Our arguments and rebuttals have showed that autonomous cars should not be banned in Malaysia. Thank you.
So, in the conclusion, we support that autonomous cars should not be banned. We cannot ignore all the truth that the government side has stated about, but just like what we have mentioned, autonomous car will definitely bring more benefits than drawbacks. Autonomous car can avoid and decrease the car crash that happen frequently with an average of 18 persons killed in road accidents per day in Malaysia. Apart from this, autonomous car can save more time, money and natural resources and also protect our environment, since the autonomous car will replace fuel by electricity to produce the kinetic energy. which is better in line of energy efficiency, performance, convenience, maintenance, and tax credits, also greener with much lower emissions. Instead, all the arguments that have been mentioned by the government side are either not too correct or can be solved easily. They have not any too complicated or unsolvable troubles for now. If the autonomous car popularized, some jobs will be created to maintain jobs that have lost. Malaysia will be developed to the next standard since infrastructure and road conditions have been improved. Also, the hacking and driving skill problem can be easily solved and prevented in a condition that all safety walls are prepared well. So, it reinforces that we are right that autonomous cars should keep developed but not be banned. Autonomous cars bring many benefits to people in the world. With the presence of the autonomous car, the standard living will increase and develop our world to a better future since it actually helps us a lot and make our life more convenient. Other than that, the reason some people try to deny autonomous car is because they don't even trust autonomous car and think they are so dangerous. But we cannot always stay in the comfort zone and refuse to challenge the new things, right? Or we will always stay in the current stand and never evolve again. Only if we try to accept the autonomous car, we might know what's wrong with the autonomous car and then fix and upgrade it to a better and safer version. Just like the first time when the bike invented and the first time when the manual car invented. Both of these vehicles exist the risk and also cause many accidents happen in human history. Thus, there's no any difference compared to the autonomous car. If have, the only difference between autonomous car and manual car is autonomous car is more convenient. Thus, we will always take a stand that autonomous cars should not be banned. That's all for us. Thank you, sir.
In conclusion, I strongly believe that this House has proven why autonomous cars are highly disadvantageous for the current state of Malaysia. Firstly, autonomous cars will definitely spike the unemployment rate in Malaysia, as many Malaysians still heavily rely on driving as their primary source of income. And autonomous cars, as the name suggests, make driving to be completely unreliant on the control of physical drivers. This makes those who drive for a living completely obsolete and eventually jobless. Secondly, we've shown evidence that autonomous cars can be hacked into with ease, as the so-called smart vehicles are still susceptible to traditional braking methods that work with non-autonomous cars. What's even worse is that with autonomous cars, a byproduct of their software features are added ways to break in and hack into the car. And since the technology used will be relatively new, their security software could be easily overcome without much skill needed. Thirdly, Malaysia's infrastructure and road conditions are just not ready for full autopilot in autonomous cars. The Malaysian government is still making changes and adding to their already existing road safety laws. With that in mind, Malaysia's infrastructure is crucially outdated to adopt a new form of driving, and it will take ages to develop and further evolve Malaysia's road to even consider autonomous cars. Finally, we have proven that the driving skills of fellow Malaysians degrade over time. This is because the use of autonomous cars will reduce the necessity to be skilled in driving. This in turn will cause even the most skilled drivers to be increasingly dependent on self-driving cars, thus eventually forgetting how to drive as a whole. In light of these staggering pieces of evidence, the best course of action is to ban autonomous cars from Malaysian roads. Thank you for listening, and my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Billy for giving us the opportunity to express our arguments. and I hope that our arguments will lead you to the right side of this notion. It is our fortune to participate in this debate. It is also an opportunity for us to broaden our mind. I am inclined to improve my knowledge more in the relevant matters and subjects by referring books and journals. Now I made up my mind to participate in similar debates in future and sharpen my knowledge. Best wishes to the other participants.